Section 1 of Toto's Merry Winter. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Jude Somers. Toto's Merry Winter by Laura E. Richards. Chapter 1. A Story by the Fire. It was evening. A good old-fashioned winter evening. Cold without, warm and merry within. The snow was falling lightly, softly, with no gusts of wind to trouble it and send it whirling and drifting hither and thither. It covered the roof with a smooth white counterpane, tucking it in neatly and carefully around the edges. It put a tall conical hat on top of the pump, and laid an ermine fold over his long and impressive nose. Myriads of curious little flakes pattered softly, oh, very softly, against the windows of the cottage, pressing against the glass to see what was going on inside, and saying, let us in, please do." But nobody seemed inclined to let them in, so they were forced to content themselves with looking. Indeed, the aspect of the kitchen was very inviting, and it is no wonder that the little cold flakes wanted to get in. A great fire was crackling and leaping on the hearth. The whole room seemed to glow and glitter. Brass saucepans, tin platters, glass window-panes, all cast their very brightest glances toward the fire, to show him that they appreciated his efforts. Over this famous fire, in the midst of the dancing, flickering tongues of yellow flame, hung a great black soup kettle, which was almost boiling over with a sense of its own importance, and a kindly consciousness of the good things cooking inside it. "Blubble, brr, bubble, hubble," said the black kettle, with a fat and spluttering enunciation. "Blubble, hubble, brr, bubble, lots of fun and very little trouble." On the hob beside the fire sat the tea kettle, a brilliant contrast to its sooty neighbor. It was of copper, so brightly burnished that it shone like the good red gold. The tea kettle did not bubble. It considered bubbling rather vulgar, but it was singing very merrily, in a clear, pleasant voice, and pouring out volumes of steam from its slender copper nose. "I am doing all I can to make myself agreeable," the tea kettle said to itself. "I am boiling just right, hard enough to make a good cheerful noise, and not so hard as to boil all the water away. And why that beast should sit and glower at me there, as he is doing, is more than I can understand." That beast was a raccoon. I think some of you children may have seen him before. He was sitting in front of the fire, with his beautiful tail curled comfortably around his toes, and he certainly was staring very hard at the tea kettle. Presently the kettle, in pure playfulness and good will, lifted its cover a little and let out an extra puff of snowy steam, and at that the raccoon gave a jump and moved farther away from the fire without ever taking his eyes off the kettle. The fact is that for the first time in his life the raccoon knew what fear was. He was afraid, mortally afraid, of that tea kettle. "Don't tell me," he had said to Toto only the day before. "Don't tell me it isn't alive. It breathes, and it talks, and it moves, and if that isn't being alive, I don't know what is." "Coon, how utterly absurd you are!" cried Toto, laughing. "It doesn't move, except when someone takes it up, of course, or tilts it on the hob." "Toto," said the raccoon, speaking slowly and impressively, "as sure as you are a living boy, I saw that kettle take off the top of its head and look out of its own insides only last night. And before that," he added, looking rather shamefaced, I just put my paw in to see what there was inside, and the creature caught it and took all the skin off." But here Toto burst into a fit of laughter, and said, "Served you right," which was so rude that the raccoon went off and sat under the table in a huff. So this time, when the kettle took off the top of its head, Coon did not run out into the shed, as he had done before.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?